A big win for the Braves in Colville. We talked to Buck Sargent and Jack Richens following the big win. Also, sticking with the Braves, how is star running back Ian Coyle doing following his knee injury just a few weeks ago? And finally, some of the fastest racers in the world compete this past weekend here in Utah. It's all coming up right now on the Scoreboard. Hey everyone, welcome into the Scoreboard. We have a packed show for you today. We want to kick things off with North Summit's big win over Parowan this past Friday. The young Braves looking to secure their second win of the season, and they did just that. Here is Aiden Bells alongside a couple of players following the game.
North Summit High School defeating Parowan 39-19.
So this is our homecoming game. A game that we look forward to every year. It's a big game. A lot of people come out.
I saw you make some incredible runs here. How did the game go for you?
It was pretty good. We had a lot of mental mistakes, but our defense and offense fought back really well.
All right, let's transition over to the season now. 2-4 with this dub, but some close games so far. How has the season been for you?
It's been a little rough after our first game. Played some super tough teams, but this game's going to give us some momentum. We're going to come back up to get us more wins.
Yeah, just like what Jack said, it's been rough, the rough start, and we're finally getting the momentum back. Good practices, and we're finally getting hold of it.
How has it been adjusting without your senior running back, Ian Coyle?
It's kind of been a hard adjustment. Ian's a super tough runner, so it's kind of hard to replace. But we had a junior, Carter McCowan, step up. Not quite as big, but he runs the ball. He runs the ball super hard. He's super fast.
This team has a lot of young talent like Jake Smith and McCade Nelson. How much more polished do you think the team will be next year?
Oh, I think they'll be really polished. All these sophomores getting all this varsity time. Give them a lot of experience for next year. They should be looking tough.
Just what he said, we'll be tough next year.
Hey everyone, right now we have a very special guest. We are joined by Ian Coyle over at North Summit Football via Zoom. Ian, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, we're kind of talking during a time that's not ideal. Last Friday against Enterprise, you did go down, and it looked to be an apparent knee injury. I'm just kind of wanted to get an update. How are you doing, and how are things going?
So, I had my MRI a couple days ago, and I got my results Tuesday, and they said I had an a complete ACL tear, and I did some damage to my meniscus, and then an MCL sprain. So not as bad as my last one, so I'm thankful, but still kind of devastated about it.
Goodness gracious. I mean, it seems like injury on top of injury, specifically to your knees. Can you tell us a little bit about the first injury? I know Gary kind of talked a little bit about it on our Scoreboard interview on our Tuesday show, but I know you obviously know a whole lot more about it. What was that other knee injury?
So, I could go back. It was a JV game. Our varsity had a bye that week, and I knew that basically the whole varsity was all seniors. And I was playing varsity at the time, so I wanted some experience down with the kids I was going to play with this year. So I decided to play JV. It was against Millard, and I think it was just a pitch around the corner, like a sweep. And no, actually it was up the gut, and I was about to break the tackle, and I had two guys jump on my back, and then my knee just went out sideways, and that's really all I can remember, but it just felt like it was on fire.
So,
but I tore my LCL, ACL, IT band, meniscus, and PCL.
Oh my goodness. And so when you went down last Friday, you probably knew, I felt this before. And did you know that it was as bad, or did you think that it was maybe going to be a little bit less of an impact than it was last year?
No, I knew exactly what it was just because I felt it last year. but last year my kneecap was all the way around like my leg, so it dislocated my kneecap too. So I knew that it wasn't nearly as bad, and then when they brought me back to do the test, my knee wasn't nearly as swollen as it was last time. So I kind of knew that the journey I had ahead of me, but I knew it wasn't going to be nearly as bad as it was last year.
So how long has it taken for you to recover the other leg, the one that you injured last year? How long did it take?
So, I mean, they told me it's like a year recovery, and I think I hit a year like yesterday. So I sped up the recovery pretty fast. But I mean, just lots of physical therapy, lots of lifting. I mean, just kind of tighten up the tendon so it's not so loose. But now it feels great.
And so now your other leg obviously is now in a whole lot of, there's going to be a little bit of time as well for that one. How much time do you think this other leg is going to be taking to recover?
So I went in yesterday to physical therapy, and they want me to get my leg straight before I get my surgery. So they're thinking 2 weeks for surgery, and then 2 weeks on crutches, and then 3 months before I can lift and run.
And Ian, I should know this, but do you do track or do you do any other spring sport? Would you be able to return for those?
I did play basketball, and I do track, yes, but I don't know if I will this year. I mean, my last knee already made me a lot slower, and I think this will make me even slower. And I don't know if I can compete in track, so I think I'll maybe just grind it out and lift.
What's going to be the future plans? I know you're a senior right now. Is there any plans to play in the future at all that you know of?
I knew when I was younger, I always wanted to play, maybe try college ball. But as I slowly started getting more injuries, I kind of felt like that wasn't a possibility for me. Like maybe I wasn't good enough to go college or anything like that. And just kind of mentally, I don't know if I can go to college and get hurt again and go through some of the stuff again. Because, I mean, as much as the toll it has on my body, it's more of a mental game.
Ian, how are you feeling overall? Obviously, you're devastated. Obviously, this has not been the way that you wanted your senior season to go. What have your thoughts and emotions been like over the last couple of days? Because as we've been texting, you seem to have been in good spirits, but this is such a devastating story.
Well, I guess last year was just so bad. I mean, I went into a dark hole. I mean, just because of the amount of, pain and how bad the injury was. Like, I was on crutches for 10 weeks during the winter, and everyone's walking into school with their wet shoes, and crutches do not work well on wet floors. So it was just kind of like a bad year overall. And, I mean, not having that bad of a recovery, I mean, as much as it sucks, it's better than the last one. So that's just it. I don't know. And I know what I can do and what I can come back from. So I just have a little bit better spirits about it just because I know that I can do it and it'll be easier this time.
What was going through your head when you did go down last Friday? I know that there was a lot of emotions. I was on the opposite side of the field, but I could actually hear some of I don't want to say screaming, but I could hear some of the frustration that was coming out. I just wanted to know, what were you saying or what was going on when you knew that it had actually happened?
So some people think I got tackled and it happened, but I went down because I planted and rotated and I felt the pop. And just the first thing that came to my head was, not again. I can't go through this again. And of course I didn't know quite how bad it was, but I mean, just mentally, it doesn't hurt super bad. I'm walking on it right now, but mentally it was pretty traumatizing just because I've been through it before. I know how hard it is. So, I mean, my first thought was just how do I do this again?
Right after the injury happened, you got on the golf cart and Coach Holmes gave you a hug. Coach Crittenden brought you over to the medical tent and things like that. I'm just curious, what did it mean to you to have, your coach right there and obviously your family and things like that? Was it kind of nice to have it be on your home turf, know that you are close to home, know that you don't have a super long bus ride to get back to Colville and things like that?
Right. Yeah. No, it was great to be at home. I mean, I've never had an injury away at an away game, but I'm sure, especially because the long drives we go on for our region, I know a 7-hour bus drive with the torn ACL would not be very fun. So being home was nice and having my coach there for me. They all know what I went through last year, and they were all just super supportive. So, through this whole process, they've all had my back the whole time. So I just really appreciate all my coaches and what they've done for me, especially on the field.
Did your teammates know exactly what it was as well when you went down? Did they realize, oh my gosh, it happened again?
Yeah, my first words were not again, not again. So I think that kind of hit them. But a lot of them watched what happened last year, and my whole knee was just separated, so they could see it last year. And I think me being on the ground again, ripping my helmet off again, I think they kind of understood what happened, and yeah, it was kind of bummer deal.
What has it been like getting back to school? Obviously, you've probably got some sort of brace on it. People know that you're going to be recovering for a long time. What has it been like having the entire student body come and kind of be there for you and kind of have your back, I guess I should say?
It's always nice. The whole community really, the student body's been super nice, super, caring, loving, but the community mostly. The texts I've gotten and the support that's come to my house. Walking around school is pretty tiring, limping around. With my brace on, it's super uncomfortable. But just the love I have from the community and all my friends and the student body is outstanding.
This team is full of talent, and young talent specifically. I would say of all the seniors, you were definitely kind of the star of the show, but you've got Jake who's coming up, McCade Nelson who's coming up, a whole lot of different options. How much are you looking forward to watching the rest of this football season play out? And are you going to be with the football team as they travel and all those things?
Yeah, I'm actually going to Kanab tomorrow on the bus with them, so trying to get in as many bus rides as I can with my team. It's my last sport, so I kind of want to live it up. But we've got so much talent, and they're young. You could see it, especially when we have our tight games. You can see the kind of nervousness they have because they haven't been in that position yet. But I know that they're all super great, and I know our line's going to do good. They're all mentally strong. I wouldn't say when I was a sophomore I was that mentally strong, so props to all the sophomores and upcoming kids that are going to be studs.
What would you say, or who would you say is maybe the one person to really look out for? We've talked to Jake Smith before, but is there another player that you're really looking forward to watching for the rest of this season?
I really want to see McCade succeed just because he's the other running back, and I've always kind of been like an older brother with him just because our families are so close. So I really want to see McCade succeed. Also, one of our linemen, Brendan, I want to see him do good. I know he's been grinding in the weight room, so I always want to see this younger class succeed.
Absolutely. Well, Ian, we really appreciate the time. Thank you so much for talking to us and giving us an update, and good luck for the rest of the football season and your long road to recovery. We really appreciate the time. Thank you. F1 racing came to Utah for the first time this past weekend, and we got in on the action meeting a handful of racers. Let's take a look.
I'm Frederick Alspo, driver of the number 151 Rockstar Energy Drink Toyota GR Supra here in Formula Drift. So this is the 7th round of the Formula Drift Championship, and we're sitting second in points. We're here in Utah for the very first time. The season started off pretty well. We got a 4th place in Long Beach after I put our opponent Matt Field in the wall. That was not ideal. We got back on track in Atlanta with a win. Couple solid finishes following that, then a little bit of a slump. I got into my teammate Ryan Turk before I drove myself off the track, or into the wall, I should say, in Seattle. So we're definitely looking for a little bit of a revenge here in Utah, and we want to get back on the horse and put down a good result here.
Hey, I'm Ryan Turk, professional Formula Drift driver for the Papadakis racing team. Season for me has had its ups and downs. We started the year with a win, which was phenomenal out in Long Beach, and then we had a couple mechanical failures and a big crash in New Jersey, so we've been up and down. Finished strong in St. Louis, and in a pretty good finish in Seattle, so we're sitting 3rd in the championship right now.
Hi everyone, my name is Jonathan Castro. I'm a professional drifter from Dominican Republic. So far the season has been ups and downs. It's definitely, for example, as soon as we came the first round, it was Long Beach, we're doing great. We lost that battle on the technical side of things, but we won a lot. It felt great. It was a highlight of the season. It was an amazing battle, door to door. This round we just qualified P3 and we're ready for battle. The car feels great, I feel great. You guys, I'm sure you're enjoying what you're watching, so.
I'm Stefan Papadakis. I'm owner and manager of the Rockstar Energy Drink Toyota Drift Program. So overall, it's doing well. We run 2 main cars here, Frederick Osbo in the GR Supra, and then Ryan Turk in the Toyota Corolla. And currently Frederick is in 2nd in points, so we're having a great season so far and really close to potentially winning that championship. I've always been in the cars, even from RC cars before I had a driver's license, later on into drag racing, and then learned about the drifting competitions and ended up building a car for myself, an old Nissan 240 SX. Had a lot of fun with that, and then kind of evolved with the whole series. As the series got larger and started doing more events, we started building more elaborate builds and ended up working with Toyota now, and we build these really crazy 1,000 horsepower drift cars.
So drifting differs from traditional racing in the sense that it's judged. We're at the mercy of 3 judges that are scrutinizing our moves out there on track, and it falls in line with what you'd see in skateboarding, surfing, some of the other action sports, and I think that speaks to kids and the up-and-coming generations. That's why drifting's grown so big, and at the same time we pull a lot of inspiration from rally and sprint cars and ovals and NASCAR. So it's this interesting mix of traditional racing meets modern day action sport.
I am absolutely stoked that Formula Drift came here to the Utah Motorsports campus. I've only been to Utah once previously, and it's always phenomenal being able to come to places that you don't see very often or get to very often.
The fact that the Formula Drift decided to come to Utah is a big statement. What they're looking for. What they're looking for is just something new, try a different venue, show the drifting to a different people, and definitely this track is beautiful.
So I've actually been out here a couple other times at the Utah Motorsports campus. Once with the NASA Nationals road racing, and then again with the Lucas Off-Road Short Course Series, which was a lot of fun. And this is our first time with the drift cars. And it's an excellent track where it's a world-class road racing track. And to have these high horsepower cars drifting on such a beautiful track, it's really fun to watch, but it's really fun to set up the cars, and it's really fun for the drivers as well.
I've driven for this team for 11 seasons now, and I'm starting to know him pretty well. Steph, the team owner, is awesome. He gives me freedom to play around on track. At the same time, we have a high level of expectations, for ourselves and for the team. And the rest of the boys are amazing. They keep spirits high within the team, and we're a tight unit over here.
Our team gets along awesome. Freddie is absolutely awesome teammate. We exchange the proper amount of data from on-track stuff and kind of what you're feeling out there, and we're definitely really good teammates to each other when it counts, for sure.
Papadakis team for me is being the focus of my career. As soon as I start drifting, I see those guys working, how good they are, how amazing team they are, amazing builds. My teammates, I'll say, they are great guys. Ryan, which I'll say first, is a guy that I didn't know much. I always respect him as a driver, as a person, but now as a friend that I know him and respect me more, and as a great human being, he's a great person. And for Freddie is like my hermano. So we know each other since I started driving. We've been friends for like a long time, and I can call him my brother, like literally, figuratively.
All the guys here at Papadakis Racing are very experienced in motorsport and wear many hats, everything from fabrication to tuning the car, and are just really good mechanics as well. So we pride ourselves on being a well-rounded team that not only understands how to run the cars on the track, but also build them as well at our shop.
There's something about being in control of a car that's out of control that's so hard to describe, yet so fascinating. I think that's why I fell in love with the sport initially. We're doing something that you shouldn't really be doing. We're doing everything they tell you in driving school not to do. It's just wild and obnoxious, but I love that rebellious part of the sport, and it's a big part of my DNA.
It's definitely a very unique way to drive a car, especially on a track at speed. And it's just, it puts a smile on my face every time. It's an adrenaline rush all the way through. And if you're a passenger, it feels exactly like a roller coaster ride, like losing your stomach. So it's exciting.
I do love about drift racing is the camaraderie. When we're at the start line is where we're enemies. Off the track, we're all friends. We share parts, we share love, we share what we do. So drifting is a family.
What I love about the drift competitions is the rule book is really thin, so we can do a lot of changes to these vehicles and different engines and stuff like that. It's very diverse, the type of cars that are here. So that's really fun to see all the different types of cars. In addition to that, it's a new type of motorsport to where there really isn't like a best practices in how they've been building these cars for years. So we're able to trailblaze a bit of a design and fabrication and even for the drivers, a way of driving these cars that is unlike motorsports in the past. If you're interested in following along, just go to Google or some search engine, look for Papadakis Racing, and our YouTube is Papadakis Racing.
Hey, thank you so much for watching. On Friday, we've got some Powder Puff football, a mic'd up segment, and a whole lot more. For the entire Scoreboard team, I am Blake O'Rourke, and we will see you all on Friday.